Stick with me here. I've caught 0 fish for 3 years, yet the internet calls me a god. That is because others use normal bait, but I fish with my actual life on the line. I never pull up creepy evidence. Instead, I hook literal explosives or massive military submarines. I even drop my hook and snag illegal nets used by cheating shop owners, sending those greedy guys straight to the slammer for some free room and board. Long story short, I haven't landed a single actual fish, but I completely filled up the local police cells. The local officers are absolutely losing their minds. Simon, we are begging you, please stop fishing. Right now on the peaceful banks of the Clearwater River out in the country, the afternoon sun is absolutely brutal. I'm practically baking, completely dripping with sweat. Yet my fishing float just sits perfectly still on the water. Just as I am about to faint from the crazy heat, the float finally ripples. My heart leaps, and I violently jerk the rod up with both of my hands. But shocking everyone, the rod does not budge. Instead, a massive, eerie force violently surges right up through it. I'm nearly dragged right into the river. Absolute madness. It is definitely a monster. Some sleepy anglers nearby hear the huge commotion and immediately crowd around me. Not bad at all, kid. Just look at that rod bending. That has got to be 80 pounds at least. Keep it steady. Do not let it run. Give it line. Give it line. Hearing the crowd hype me up, I feel a massive energy surge. The giant thing below slowly rises toward the surface. Is it a 100-pound giant beast, or just a massive meter-long fish? Watch closely now. This is crazy. A dark shadow slowly appears, but it is no fish. It is a bulging, strange green woven sack. Because it's soaked in the water for so long, it is completely covered in weeds and thick mud, looking exactly like a giant hairy ball. Everyone around shakes their heads in regret. Oh, what a total shame. How do you end up catching a giant bag of trash? My hype completely crashes from the clouds to the dirt. Totally disappointed, I drag the sack onto the bank, and instantly an indescribably horrible stench spreads everywhere, carrying a sickly sweet. Truly nauseating. Note: an angler beside me cannot hold it together and immediately starts gagging. I pinch my nose, crouching down to grab my hook, but the very second I look, my eyes go completely wide. Through the ripped hole, a single toe painted with bright red nail polish is terrifyingly exposed. In that wild instant, my brain totally short-circuits with a loud buzz, and I collapse to the ground, completely frozen. An old guy nearby sees this and eagerly leans over. "Oh, did you find some treasure? Let me see it." But, the very next second, his words cut off abruptly, and a completely terrifying scream tears right across the riverbank. A terrible crime. Someone lost their life. About 20 minutes later, flashing red and blue police lights light up this whole wilderness. I'm totally sandwiched between two officers. No steel bracelets yet, but this intense setup makes me look exactly like a prime suspect. The veteran officer here is Walter. He is the captain of the city crime unit, staring with sharp hawk eyes. I know what you are thinking. The guy just wanted fish soup. How was I supposed to know one simple cast would pull up this terrifying mess? Walter slowly glances at my totally empty fishing bucket, then points right at the nasty sack. "Fish soup is off the menu today. Come down to the station to chat." In the interrogation room, I grip a paper cup, absolutely dazed. Walter sits across from me, flipping through his heavy files with a grave expression. According to the forensic exam, the contents were indeed terrible evidence, but everything inside had already completely broken down over time. Only the finger bones and some surface material were left. The estimated time of the tragic incident was at least 2 years ago, so it truly had absolutely nothing to do with me. Walter finally closes the heavy file, his serious tone softening. "All right, enough talking. After our deep check, you really are just an angler with insanely terrible luck. Oh right, do you still want to fish for soup?" My face turns completely pale. I wave my hands frantically. No more fishing, never again. Absolutely not in this lifetime. After finishing all the boring paperwork, I carry my gear out the station doors. but I still feel that horrible, nauseating smell lingering in my nose. I glare at the gear in my hand, totally ready to dry it out and toss it away. But to my absolute shock, the second I lift the trash can lid, a sudden chime rings right in my head, detecting that the player's fishing spirit is completely shattered with stats off the charts. The legendary fishing heat map system is now bound to you. A successful catch earns system points, and each point converts to $100. New user reward, 500 points. My hands completely freeze. 1 point equals $100, so 500 points means $50,000. All my previous fear instantly vanishes, replaced by pure manic excitement. Fishing really can make you rich. The legends were not lying. I check the time, 3 hours until dark. I silently command the system to open, and a glowing, translucent blue map instantly appears right before me. So what do we make of this? 500 meters downstream on the map, a new area flashes red. Alright, you and I are about to start a wild ride. I grab a bike, zooming straight to Clearwater River. Bad luck, whatever. For 50 grand, if a spooky spirit pops out, I will literally shove it back down. Soon, I am at the river. My old fishing spot is blocked by police tape, and forensic teams are still searching the water for any leftover clues. Following my heat map system, I move downstream. I find a nice flat patch of ground, mix my bait, fix up the float, and cast my line out. Sure enough, under 10 minutes after casting my line, the float actually starts bouncing around. It taps twice, then slowly dips down. A classic lifting bite. I am totally thrilled. A perfect bite like this guarantees a massive wild crucian carp. I hold my breath, focusing completely, waiting for the perfect second. I yank the rod, but it feels insanely heavy. That terrifying, familiar weight instantly freezes the happy smile right off my face. Carefully reeling the line, I slowly pull the strange mystery object closer. It is super weird. No sack, just torn cloth wrapped tightly around a pale, spooky white bone that clearly has a fully formed joint structure attached to it. It really looks like a leg bone, but the break marks are definitely unnatural. My hopeful heart totally sinks, and pure ice shoots from my feet right up to my skull. Did I seriously just fish up a whole pile of creepy human remains? Frozen, I pull out my phone. Detective Walter, you have not clocked out yet, right? Sorry to bother you, but can you come out again? I caught another piece. Walter rushes back over, ing at me with 70% shock and 30% suspicion. Buddy, be honest with me. Were you some kind of underground explorer? Or did you learn magical treasure hunting? Detective Walter, if I swear I just wanted to catch a little fish for a nice dinner, do you actually believe me? Walter rolls his eyes, obviously trusting me, and then stares intensely at the pale bone. Now watch closely. Those earlier finger bones perfectly match the DNA of a huge, totally sensational cold case from exactly 2 years ago. This leg bone very likely comes from that exact same person. I actually worked that case. We had a solid suspect, but without finding the main evidence. The whole investigation just kept dragging on. Who would believe the hardest evidence would just get fished up today? Alright buddy, this absolutely counts as a massive, super helpful contribution. Once we solve this case, I will apply for your good citizen reward immediately. 3 days later, at the Riverton Station Conference Hall, I stand proudly on stage as the absolute top case contributor. Wearing a massive red flower, holding a shiny banner, Walter made himself. Reading Good Citizen Crime Crusher. Beside me, Walter speaks passionately into the loud microphone, recognizing Simon for his amazing contribution to this major investigation. The City Bureau officially grants you the awesome title of Good Citizen and awards you $50,000. The second I hear 50,000, my tired eyes instantly light up with huge excitement. Well, this crazy trip was not wasted at all. I finally got something real to show. I know what you are thinking, but hold on. As I step out, Walter suddenly chases me. Case solved. The victim can finally rest peacefully. So this genuinely counts as an incredibly great deed on your part. Also, if you fish up anything else bizarre, do not bother calling emergency lines. Just call my personal number. Detective Walter, can you not wish me a little good luck instead? I just want to be a quiet, extremely peaceful angler. Fine, fine. I wish you a monster haul. Saying my goodbyes to Walter, I head straight home. Glancing at my old gear bag in the corner, a brilliant new idea strikes me. A master must sharpen his tools. I figure the reason I keep fishing up weird things is simply that my rod is not good enough. It simply cannot block the bad energy. So, I spend tens of thousands on a Dewa Wave Dragon limited rod, top-grade imported line, and a master float. I even install a peach wood handle that supposedly wards off any evil spirits completely. Armed with these divine weapons, I absolutely refuse to believe I cannot catch a single fish. Waking up the next morning, I find my shiny new gear already delivered. I open my fishing heat map system, and the Riverton water map has completely refreshed. There are 0 red dots left on the Clearwater River. Instead, 30 kilometers away, at Whaling Pool, a deep red dot sits quietly, lurking at the deep bottom. It is super far away, and I would be totally alone. What if something dangerous actually happens? Thinking it over, I grab my old phone from the drawer and quickly download a live streaming app. Who cares who keeps me company? And honestly, online viewers are way more reliable than real friends. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I take a taxi out to the mountains facing Whaling Pool. The driver checks the GPS destination, glances nervously at my heavy gear, hesitates for a moment, and speaks up. Kid, heading to Whaling Pool? I hear that place is cursed. Every year, someone falls in mysteriously, and after they are gone, you still hear crying noises at night. So what do you and I make of this? The driver floors the gas, bolting away like he is fleeing from absolute terror. You and I are about to dive in. Did this guy really say something just to scare me? I pat the $1,000 Wave Dragon rod on my back, hyping myself up. I have hooked crazy things before. What ghost could scare me? Then, lugging all my heavy gear, I hike for over 10 minutes until I finally hit the exact spot. The system's red dot marks. It is your average mountain lake. But man, that deep, dark green water, it actually looks pretty mysterious, and a bit terrifying. I gulp hard, spot a nice flat pile of rocks to drop my heavy bags, and quickly start setting up all my streaming equipment. Since it's a new account, the chat is totally quiet, but I stay super chill. I skillfully mix up my bait, set the float, grab my special spoon, and toss in corn kernels, scoop by scoop. Then I grip the rod and cast it hard. The bait lands perfectly above the dot. Time ticks by minute. The sun sets west, and the valley dims. Surprisingly, my stream viewer count actually rises a little bit, slowly climbing right past 50 people. Honestly, I really want to pack up and leave. My back feels freezing cold just sitting here, but the system's red dot is right below me, and it is even swaying slightly. It has to be something alive. Don't rush, guys. Big fish only bite at night. But honestly, those words barely leave my mouth when the float on the water violently jolts. I instantly perk up in total excitement. See that, guys? A real bite. My body reacts on pure instinct, and I aggressively set the hook. Watch closely, because you and I are about to hear the line violently slice the water with a crazy, loud, metallic snap. My Wave Dragon rod instantly bends into a complete circle, and this totally indescribable massive force suddenly surges straight from the rod tip. I am yanked forward, stumbling, nearly pitching headfirst right into the pool. The chat instantly explodes with crazy comments, but right now I have absolutely zero time to look. I tightly grip the rod with both hands, brace the butt against my lower belly, and my face turns dark red from the intense strain. Roaring loud, I use my waist to aggressively lean back. What in the world is this thing? It is incredibly heavy. It does not feel like a struggling fish at all. It honestly feels like a giant water buffalo pulling from the bottom. Come up. The water surface wildly churns, and massive bubbles rise up. Drawn by this insanely intense battle scene, the number of viewers in my stream absolutely skyrockets. That is definitely no fish. A 100-pound carp cannot pull like that. Chat screams, "Stop fishing. You might just pull up the Dragon King. If you land that, I will eat my hat on stream." I fiercely grit my teeth, the veins on my forehead completely bulging out. Thankfully, the red dot on the system map is slowly moving closer to the shore. Finally, after a brutal 10-minute standoff, the water surface violently breaks open. It is not a fish head, and definitely not some water monster's back. It is a gray wing with a metallic sheen. Yes, a literal wing. Right after, a streamlined gray object over a meter long breaches the surface. It looks exactly like a miniature fighter jet, but with no cockpit and a spinning propeller right at the tail. You and I are probably just as completely stunned as my viewers right now. What is that? Then, under the intense gaze of hundreds of viewers, I use absolutely every ounce of my strength to drag this heavy beast onto the rocks. I plop onto the ground, desperately gasping for air, and finally get a real chance to examine this big machine closely. This thing is completely intact. Although some water weeds are tangled on it, it clearly hasn't been soaking for very long. The fresh impact marks on the wing suggest it crashed into a mountain and fell straight into the pool. Mounted on its belly is a black equipment case. The case actually has a seal, but the writing is totally blurred out. The stream instantly floods with comments begging me to crack open the box. I swallow hard, hesitating for a while, finally, forcing out an awkward smile that is uglier than crying. Guys, I think for this thing, we better just trust the police. It is literally my first day streaming, and I do not want to go to jail. With that, I pull out my phone and quickly dial Walter's number. Meanwhile, at the City Criminal Investigation Unit, Walter just finished working and is about to catch a quick nap. But the absolute second he lies down, his phone rings. He checks the caller name, Simon the Mystery Fisher, and instantly springs right up from his bed. He answers the call, and hearing my wild description, immediately gets dressed. He yells, "Do not touch that box. Shut off the stream and just wait for me. I'm bringing a team over right now." 40 minutes later, loud, piercing sirens completely shatter the quiet valley. After parking on the roadside, Walter quickly rushes in with several young officers. Seeing this gray drone, with a wingspan over a meter, lying on the rocks, everyone draws a sharp breath. Walter circles the massive drone once, his expression turning super grim. This was modified from a River T-Series industrial frame, packed with an enlarged battery and motor, built purely for heavy load long-distance flight. Quick! Seal off the scene first, and wait for the forensics team. Yes, sir. Now, Walter loves drones, and trust me, you and I are about to see this mystery explode. The forensics officer steps right up, carefully checking out the mysterious black case. Stick with me, because you and I are about to see something wild. He breaks the seal, opens the lid, and my jaw literally hits the floor. Forensics officer Lee shakes his head, crouches down, and pulls out a single piece to inspect. This stuff is worth way more than gold. These are ultra-rare, strictly export-controlled computer chips. A haul like this easily costs a cool million. Definitely a major smuggling operation. Walter frowns hard. We just got a tip about smugglers using high-tech drones to move goods straight through the mountains. Who would have guessed one crashed right into Whaling Pool and got reeled in? Walter spins around and glares at me. A mix of 30% shock and 70% pure suspicion. Kid, do you have some secret underworld informant feeding you info? Seriously, how do you always show up near huge cases? I swear on everything, Detective Walter, I really was just trying to catch a fish. How was I supposed to know this junk was down there? I wanted 100-pound carp. Walter just sighs, shaking his head, and signals his team. All right, bag it up. Simon, you are coming back to the station with us. Got it. Hey, Detective Walter, any chance I can ride shotgun this time? Your back seat is seriously way too hard. Walter rolls his eyes, but lets me. Later that night, even with my stream down, the video of an angler reeling in a smuggling drone went completely viral. You know what happens next. Total overnight celebrity status. They could not share classified details. but the news still announced how a public-spirited citizen busted a massive smuggling ring. Add that to my previous television appearance, and my follower count exploded by 50,000 overnight. The chat is absolutely losing it. Man, are you really just a normal streamer right now? This guy needs a background check. He is no fisherman. He is definitely an undercover magistrate solving crimes. Lord Magistrate, please accept my humble bow. Undercover cop? Instant follow. I'm just waiting for the day he accidentally fishes himself into prison. But honestly, the fame is cool, yet the reward money is way better. Because the bust was absolutely huge and provided a major lead. My payout this time was a massive upgrade from before. Exactly $100,000 hits my bank account. I am grinning like crazy when the system chimes. I immediately redeem an epic body enhancement serum. Pulling up that heavy drone yesterday absolutely wrecked me. Health is everything, so an upgrade is necessary. Instantly, a warm rush flows through my veins, and I feel completely packed with raw strength. The upgrade process makes me rip some completely awful farts in public, but who cares? The results are amazing. I am finally rich and my body is incredibly strong. It is finally time to enjoy life. Thinking back to my chat making fun of my terrible fishing skills, I head straight to the pet market. I am buying the biggest tank and most expensive fish just to flex on them. Riverton Pet Market is pretty small, and after walking the entire loop, nothing feels worthy of my 200,000 net worth. Just as I am walking away, totally disappointed, my system map suddenly lights up. I open the map and watch closely, because you and I are seeing something totally new. 2 meters away is a dot, but not red. It is a solid golden dot. The system never even mentioned a gold tier before. Is this some legendary treasure? After all, gold usually means expensive. I stop right there and turn toward the stall. It is an honest-looking old guy selling all sizes of turtles crawling around inside a few, seriously, beat-up plastic basins. My eyes immediately lock onto a dirty foam box next to him, because on the system map, the golden dot is right inside it. Sitting alone inside is a tiny palm-sized turtle, completely covered in dried mud, featuring 3 very distinct black ridges on its shell. Noticing me staring at the little guy, the vendor speaks. I found this out in the country a few days ago. Looks like a green river turtle. Hand over $100, and it is yours. A golden tier system item for just $100? That is absolute highway robbery. Thrilled, I buy it instantly. I have no clue what makes it special, but my system is never wrong. Walking away, I flip on my stream. Hey guys, look at this beauty just grabbed for $100. Tell me if I scored. Riding the massive hype from the morning news, 3,000 viewers flood in the second I go live. The magistrate returns. Now, he is catching turtles? Wait a second, streamer. That little guy does not look like a normal river turtle. If my eyes work, that is actually a wild golden coin turtle. Judging by those shell rings, it is decades old. Trust me, you and I just watched him score a treasure worth 6 figures minimum. Let's dive into this wild story. Wait, isn't that rare golden coin turtle a protected species? Our MC has real skill at finding pure trouble. Life comes at you fast. Staring at the screen exploding with comments, his hand jerks wildly, nearly dropping the poor little turtle. This crazy system. He thought gold meant some legendary treasure, but nope, it just means wearing handcuffs. Gritting his teeth, he makes a choice that would totally shame his ancestors. He smoothly dials Officer Walter. The phone rings forever before finally clicking open. Simon, are you my personal curse? I get 1 single day off a month, and you've hooked something weird again? An aircraft carrier? Detective Walter. This time I didn't fish it up. I bought it at the pet market, and now my viewers are screaming that it's a completely protected animal. Across the line, Walter takes a really deep breath, heavily grinding his teeth. Stand right exactly where you are. Do not move at all. Watch that stall. I'm sending nearby officers over right this very second. Okay, fine, our guy totally gets it. 10 minutes later, he is back inside a police cruiser again. The stunned turtle vendor gets taken away too. receiving a very serious lesson on exactly why we protect endangered wild animals. That totally priceless golden coin turtle is carefully handed over to a rushing forestry bureau expert right away. After all that crazy hassle, when he finally leaves the busy precinct, it's already completely dark outside. This whole day was way harder than fishing. That so-called golden marker earned him exactly 0 cash, and even cost him $100 on top. But just as he's about to sleep, the system's chime suddenly rings out loudly like absolute, pure magic. For rescuing a rare wild animal, you have successfully unlocked the basic fish affinity skill. Here's where it gets interesting, guys. Holding a rod now makes all fish within 10 meters completely drop their guard. He jolts upright in bed. Fish affinity? Lowered guard? Isn't this basically an ultimate fish luring aura? He can finally catch actual live fish. Glancing at his wave dragon rod in the corner, that wild fire in his eyes burns brightly again. With a skill this broken, it would be an absolute crime not to hustle a trophy pond owner. When the very first ray of morning sunlight hits his window, he eagerly jumps up, grabs his fishing gear, and heads out to pull off something incredibly massive. By 8 a.m. sharp, he happily arrives at the famous Big Crucian Paradise located in Riverton's northern suburbs. This spot used to be an abandoned pit, later transformed and converted into a commercial fishing ground by a bald boss named Frank. Already, quite a few eager anglers are currently sitting around the pond. It is quite an impressive sight. The exact second he enters with his heavy gear bag, Frank approaches to greet him. Well, if it isn't Riverton's grand celebrity, our very own honorable magistrate. Are you here on a secret inspection today, or looking to restock your supply? Blowing a perfect smoke ring, his eyes hold a sharp hint of pure mockery as he speaks. But let me say this up front. My pond only has real fish. Absolutely none of those weird achievements you usually hook. The nearby regulars burst out laughing. Our MC simply ignores his petty little jokes. Boss Frank, you're joking. I'm a serious angler. What's the rate today? Frank just holds up 5 thick fingers. For the trophy pond, mainly giant crucian carp, mixed perfectly with grass and common carp. You and I know that's completely wild. 500? Did these premium fish grow up eating pure gold bars? Frank lets out a rude sneer, pointing right at the pond behind him. Too expensive? If it's too expensive, just go hit the wild river. That's completely free, and you can even fish up scary ancient relics there. I just stocked 2,000 pounds of premium farm-raised crucian yesterday. Every single one is over a pound. If you have the skill to fish this pond dry, I'll happily take the loss. His temper flares up entirely. A normal commercial pond is only 200 or 300. This Frank really has an insanely greedy heart. Today, he is going to teach him a real lesson. Pulling out 5 large bills at once. 500 it is, but if I load up this net, don't you cry about it. Frank acts like that is the absolute funniest joke ever, confidently pointing at the nearby customers. If you pull 50 pounds of fish today, I won't just refund your 500. I'll literally eat that fish net right on the spot, mud and all. Everyone here is a witness. The surrounding anglers loudly clap and cheer. Wasting 0 words, he finds a spot and sits right down. He swiftly sets up his stand and starts the stream. Time to get to work, guys. Viewers slowly start trickling into the live stream, and he skillfully begins setting the float, finding the bottom, and baiting the spot. Although he's barely caught fish lately, this entire veteran routine is something he definitely knows quite well. And with his new cheat power today, catching a massive fish is absolutely guaranteed. He hooks on carefully prepared red worm bait, then confidently makes his very first cast of the day. The float stands totally steady in the water, showing 2 marks. Gripping his rod, he holds his breath, purely focused. 1 minute passes, 5 minutes, half an hour goes by. But the float stands firm as an iron pillar, not moving a single inch. What do you and I make of this? Through his heat map, a massive cluster of fish is right there. Stick with me here. These fish just circle the hook, but completely refuse to bite. Inside the cool front office, Frank stares at the monitor with a chilly smirk. What a fool. He just dumped tons of fertilizer yesterday, dropping the oxygen. Now, the starving fish are just floating at the surface. Who would even eat bait now? Time ticks on, and sweat starts dripping down my face. Am I totally going to fail today? The vibe in the live stream starts shifting too. Streamer, are you actually good? Not a single bite. Someone said this pond should absolutely be reported. Total scam vibes. Seeing the chat, my confident face completely drops. I take a deep breath. System skill, max power, basic fish affinity. Let's go right now. An invisible wave blasts outward from me, rippling deep underwater. Then, an absolutely mind-blowing scene unfolds right before my eyes. Those lazy white dots on the heat map go totally wild, rushing straight toward my exact spot. The super calm water surface suddenly churns up, bubbling like crazy. Eyes shining, I grip the rod and yell to the chat. They are coming. Guys, the whole school is charging. The viewers see the water shifting. Holy cow, what is happening? Why is the pond bubbling like a volcano? Now, pay close attention here. This haul looks huge, but things get way weirder than expected. The fish definitely show up, but they completely ignore the bait in the water. Instead, like crazy fans meeting an idol, they bump my float, climb the line, and even jump straight onto the muddy shore. Splat! A massive 2-pound carp flops right at my feet, thrashing around wildly in the mud. Its mouth opens like it is screaming, "I love you." I just freeze. The live stream viewers are totally stunned too. What kind of magic is this? Streamer, did you dump some crazy potion into the pond? Why did normal fish go totally insane? Is this the legendary fish bowing to their true king? Frank's face drops, and sunflower seeds spill from his shaking hands. He has seen massive hauls in his business. He has seen guys catch zero, but fish jumping ashore on their own? Absolutely never. Honestly, I am not thrilled right now. Instead, I am totally breaking into a cold sweat. These fish swarm me, but still will not bite. I lift the rod, snagging just one single tiny fish scale. Come on, just eat the bait. What good is rubbing? While I frantically deal with this massive swarm of fanboy fish, my eye suddenly catches something else. Right below that huge pile of white dots, a super familiar red dot lights up, and around that single red dot, pulsing sound waves start echoing outward in giant rings. We both know what that means, right? Another red dot. The system just refuses to let me fish normally. But then, an idea hits me. I turn around and yell at Frank. "Boss Frank, is something wrong with your fish? Why won't they dive down?" Frank walks over, standing right behind me, staring at the chaotic pond with pure suspicion. Hearing that, he stiffens his neck and grunts. It is just hot out. Low air pressure. Floating fish is totally normal. Your skills are just trash. How can you possibly blame my poor fish? You just suck. I let out a chilly laugh, stare at that deep red dot, and smile straight at the camera. Guys, since Frank says my skills are garbage, let us try a completely different kind of fishing method today. Right on camera, I swap my rig. I grab a shoelace thick braided line, with 2.0, and a nasty treble hook. This fish affinity cheat might be super glitched, but I have never missed a glowing red dot before. Frank's eye twitches like crazy watching this. Hey, wait a minute. What are you doing with a massive treble hook? Nobody fishes with that. I just stand up, roll my shoulders, and lock eyes on the deep red dot. Did I ever say I was catching fish? Nope. Watch this move very closely. Like tossing a grenade, I aim dead center and hurl that hook. Splash! It plunges straight down to the absolute bottom. I do not rush. Instead, using the map, I gently drag the line, feeling out the muddy terrain under my hands. 1 tap, 2 taps. Suddenly, a massive clunk. I snag something super solid down there. I know this heavy feeling perfectly. Come up. I roar so loud that every single angler nearby spins around in total shock. They see me planting my feet wide apart. Trust me, you're going to want to see what comes next. Grabbing the bent wave dragon rod, I yank it sharply upward. Alright, stick with me here. If his first hook was a tiny violin, this is a thunderclap. A crazy sound of slicing water echoes across the entire fishing ground. Whatever is stuck down there is ridiculously heavy. Pulling it doesn't bring it up to the surface. It actually just makes me stumble forward instead. Seeing this, Boss Frank quietly breathes a huge sigh of relief. He immediately jumps up and shouts, "Hey, you just snagged the bottom. You are definitely snagged. Listen here, Simon. If you snap your line, that is totally not my problem." The live stream viewers are totally stunned by this scene too. Comments flying rapidly across the screen. Simon's stance looks like he is playing tug of war. That rod is definitely going to snap. Wait, look, the tip is moving. Could it be a giant monster? The rod tip is moving, but definitely not like a normal fleeing fish. It is a weird, high-frequency vibration. It feels just like an electric motor humming at the bottom of the pond. I clench my teeth, the veins on my forehead bulging hard, strengthened by that enhancement serum. My body absolutely erupts with astonishing power in this exact moment. Get up here, you! Amid violently churning muddy water, a massive dark object, totally tangled in heavy weeds and a fishing net, is forcefully dragged off the bottom by me. Now watch closely, because you and I are about to see the real truth. Everyone spots a large black speaker-like box, with a waterproof cable running straight to the management house across the pond. The second this thing surfaces, a piercing electric crackle and a crazy high-frequency hum suddenly become incredibly loud. The crowd on the bank feels a sharp pain in their eardrums and a totally unexplained, intense irritation in their hearts. The fish that had been swimming around me instantly scatter. The exact second this crazy thing leaves the water, they are absolutely terrified, crashing wildly toward the shore, with some even turning belly up. For a second, all the anglers just drop their rods, staring completely blankly at the strange black box. An old guy squints through his glasses. What on earth is that weird thing? I let out a cold laugh, slamming the thing down right at Frank's feet. Boss Frank, care to explain? So this is your low air pressure excuse? And my skills just aren't good enough? Frank's face instantly turns completely pale. He instinctively reaches down to yank out the power cable, but I immediately stomp my foot right down on it. Guys, if I am not mistaken, this gadget is a high-frequency sonic fish repeller. It is basically the electronic version of a totally illegal poacher's net. The anglers nearby catch on and instantly fly into a massive rage. What the heck? No wonder I always get totally skunked here. So you were pulling this dirty trick. I know about this device too. Turned on, every fish within 50 meters acts like it has a massive concussion. Forget eating bait. Those fish are lucky to even survive. He is totally robbing us. A dozen furious anglers, gripping landing nets and rods, completely surround Frank. Frank's legs go weak with fear. This is a misunderstanding. It is all just a big misunderstanding. This thing was just left here from before. I swear, I accidentally bumped the power switch on. I know what you're thinking. Total scam. The crowd screams for refunds, pointing at the brand new cable. Suddenly, an urgent police siren approaches from the distance. Nobody knows who actually called the cops. The police car finally stops, the door opens, and a very familiar long leg steps out. Walter is in plain clothes, still clutching a bag of freshly bought breakfast buns. Clearly, he was called over before he could even eat breakfast. Walter's gaze sweeps across the furious crowd and finally lands right on me. He takes a deep breath and rubs his temples. Simon, did you plant a tracker on me for the days I'm officially off duty? I was literally just about to eat my breakfast, and you cause a massive scene like this? I point at the repeller on the ground, looking completely wrong. Detective Walter, heaven knows the real truth here. You already know I have not caught a single fish in days. Today, I specifically came to this fishing pond just to fish. Who knew I would end up pulling out this ridiculous, illegal device instead? This owner is definitely committing massive fraud, right? 500 per person. That adds up fast. Honestly, I call this ridding the public of an absolute menace. Walter looks at the still crackling cheating device and honestly cannot help but feel amused. Despite his anger, Even though this kind of case is not exactly under his major crimes jurisdiction, he has literally run right into massive suspected fraud. He absolutely cannot just ignore it. Walter waves his hand, and the few officers waiting behind him immediately step forward, taking Frank straight into official custody. The stream erupts with cheers, the screen filling with messages saying, "The magistrate is mighty," and "Lord Magistrate Simon is mighty." After handling the crazy scene, Walter just pats me on the shoulder. "Not bad, kid. I have not seen you in 2 days. And your business has already successfully expanded from violent crime straight to economic crime." I glanced down at my completely empty fishnet, letting out a very sad, bitter smile. "Detective Walter, you really flatter me. Honestly, would rather just catch a simple crucian carp. Look, I got skunked again." Walter glances at my empty net, then points at a terrified fish still thrashing on the bank. He teases me, "Hey, isn't there one right there?" So what do we learn here? Angler pride is real. With one kick, I send the fish back, shaking my head. Picking it up totally does not count as catching. Next time, we'll absolutely catch a fish. With that, Walter and the police car zoom away. Boom. The system interface updates instantly. It reads harmful interference cleared from the water. Reward 500 points. This pays better than actual fishing, he thinks. But stick with me. You and I know that is a really dangerous idea. He is an angler, not some bounty hunter. He cannot forget his true calling. Checking the time, it is still super early. Grabbing his empty net, he rushes straight to the next spot. But little does he know, thanks to one viral photo, he has basically become an absolute legend around Riverton. In that picture, he is holding the iconic wave dragon rod, foot stomping a repeller, police lights flashing behind him. The caption, brutally short, but absolutely devastating. Warning to all owners. This is Simon. Wherever he fishes, expect a major crime scene or someone getting arrested. By 1 p.m., Simon arrives at Happy Anglers Park on the east side, fishing gear packed heavy on his back. Frank ran a shady joint, so he is trying a totally legit pond now. Word is, this owner is super honest. Top-tier reputation in the fishing scene. Only catch, it is way too far away. Now watch closely. Here is where it gets hilarious. He walks up to ask prices, and the old gatekeeper just totally loses his mind. Like seeing a ghost, the guy sprints inside screaming, "Boss, run. The literal bringer of doom is here." Simon just watches the old man bolt, head spinning with total confusion. Seconds later, the boss sprints out, clutching 2 premium cigarette cartons, and forcefully shoves them right into Simon's arms without a single word. "Please, master, go anywhere else. I run a small place. Have mercy on me. Take these cigarettes, they are entirely on the house. Just please fish somewhere else." Simon sighs. "Boss, I literally just want to catch fish. Master Simon, I am terrified. One cast from you, and you might actually hook my great-grandfather's bones. My heart seriously cannot take that kind of crazy stress." With a bitter smile, the terrified boss shoves his phone right in Simon's face. 10 minutes pass. Simon stands by the road holding cigarettes, utterly baffled. What an absolute joke. He just wants to fish in peace. How did he become public enemy number 1 overnight? Banned from ponds, and wild rivers bring terrible luck. Is heaven seriously trying to doom him to fail forever? Suddenly, his phone buzzes wildly in his pocket. It is a voice memo from his fishing buddy, Steve. "Every spot in Riverton banned you? That is hilarious." Simon rolls his eyes, angrily typing back, "Get lost." Steve replies again, "Hey, do not quit. Banned from those ponds? Just try the massive reservoirs out of town. Go hit places like Dragon King Reservoir or the legendary Blackwater Pool. You and I both know this is the genius idea he needs. Big wild fish, and absolutely zero annoying owners." Simon's eyes instantly spark with hope. Exactly. Those massive places have zero management to kick him out. Total freedom. But wait, an obvious problem hits him. It is way too far. Taking taxis with heavy gear? Not happening. Checking his massive bank balance, a totally crazy, wild idea suddenly pops into his head. Time to buy a ride. Not just any junker, a total beast that hauls, sprints, and dominates off-road. The ultimate fishing machine. His gaze turns razor sharp. Forget those annoying commercial pay-to-fish ponds forever. He is marching straight to the giant reservoirs. Expedition mode unlocked. Let's do this. 10 minutes at the dealership is all it takes. He picks a massive off-roader, slams the gas, and blasts out the doors, leaving the stunned salespeople completely speechless. Ding! The system chimes out of nowhere. Player has acquired their very first motor vehicle. The ultimate fishing heat map is upgrading. Expedition mode activated. Map permissions leveled up. Scan radius exploding out to 100 kilometers. Staring at the massive glowing map zooming out before him, his heart races with pure, unfiltered ambition. Riverton's reservoirs are his new kingdom. Dragon King Reservoir, get ready. But unfortunately, ridiculous rush hour traffic is completely blocking the highway. Out of nowhere, a deafening, monstrous engine roar violently shakes the right lane. He turns his head to check. Wow! A massive, heavily modified Raptor F-150 towers over him, towing a slick lure boat behind it. That entire monster setup easily costs over $1 million. The Raptor's window slides down. A red-haired guy in shades casually rests his arm out, flexing a ridiculously expensive luxury Richard Mille watch right on his wrist. He sizes the guy up. Trust me, keep watching. Stick with me here. He spots me, rips his glasses off in pure disbelief, and yells out, "Holy crap, it's the magistrate. You're that Simon who fishes up creepy mysteries, right?" Exasperated, I roll my window down and snap back. "I'm Simon, but I'm just a fisherman." Hearing that, the red-haired guy doubles over laughing, points right at the gear sitting in my back seat, and just grins. "I watched 2 of your streams, and I didn't see a single fish the whole time. So, are you off to make another delivery to the police station today? Seriously, how can this guy be so incredibly annoying?" Just as I'm about to roll up my window and drive away, he speaks up again. "I'm Ricky, from the Riverton Lure Club. Everyone into lure fishing knows who I am. So, magistrate, how about a little contest today?" Hearing that, I'm jolted alert. This guy actually has quite a huge reputation in Riverton's fishing circle. He is the classic rich kid whose family is totally loaded, famous for never catching a single fish, but having everything else. He's a top-tier gear collector, like they say, all the fancy gear. Absolutely no idea. Without a second thought, I completely refuse. "Forget it, I'm not interested." "Oh, don't be like that. I'm headed to Dragon King Reservoir right now. I hear it produces huge, meter-long topmouth coulter. Let's go compete together. If you win, I'll give you the brand new Shimano lure combo in my trunk worth over 30,000. My hand, about to roll the window, freezes. Sure, I wave. Dragon rod is amazing, but it's just a float fishing rod. Lure fishing is a high-end style I've always really wanted to try. I couldn't bear to spend so much on the gear. Looking at Ricky, I ask quietly, "So, tell me exactly how do we compete?" "Simple. Whoever catches the single heaviest fish wins. If you lose, you just have to shout 3 times to your stream. Lure fishing is the absolute only way. Float fishing is just geezer aerobics." I rub my nose. Now pay attention, you guys. This rich kid is being incredibly insulting. But then I check my system map, and miles away at the reservoir, a huge dot starts blinking. It's not red, and it's not white. It's a blindingly bright, pure golden color, and this mysterious golden dot is moving incredibly fast. The corner of my mouth curls up, lifting into a super friendly smile. "All right, I'll happily take this bet. But when you lose, do not go crying to your mother. See you at the Dragon King Reservoir." Exactly 1 hour later, we finally arrive at Dragon King Reservoir, one of Riverton's absolute largest water sources. The water stretches vast and wide, and the glow of the setting sun scatters across the surface, literally as beautiful as a painting. But I have absolutely no mind to admire the scenery, because right now, he is standing on his insanely expensive inflatable lure boat, showing off wildly. "See this? This is a bait casting reel. This is a long cast. And this is a fish finder. This is exactly what they call technology changing life. I just stand on the muddy ground of the bank and quietly pull out my own trusty wave dragon rod. Both our streams have already entered peak A mode. Ricky is a streamer too. The second we link our streams together, the hype instantly explodes. The rich kid versus the magistrate. This match is hard to call. Come on. The magistrate literally has mystical powers on his side. He's bound to win. Then I'll bet a pack of spicy snacks that the magistrate fishes up another spooky mystery today. You saw this coming, right? The contest officially begins. And honestly, the power of money really does work. Ricky's actual skills are only average, but he picks a really good spot. A deep water structure zone. In less than 10 minutes, a small topmouth coulter a little over a pound is pulled from the water. First catch. Master Simon, how's it going over there? Still playing in the mud? Listening to Ricky mock me straight to the camera. I just tune him out completely. I keep my eyes entirely fixed on that golden dot darting fast around the center of the reservoir on my system interface. Once I confirm it's actually something alive, I silently give the magic command, System, activate basic fish affinity. An invisible wave spreads out, but this time it doesn't trigger that grand sight of fish bowing to their king-like back at the commercial pond. I figure it's because this reservoir is simply too huge, and the golden dot is at least 200 meters away. Basic fish affinity clearly isn't enough. Watching Ricky land yet another catch, I grit my teeth and decide. Over in the system shop, I spend 100 points on a magic ground bait. I grab my trusty baiting spoon, and with all my strength, I fling the ground bait into the deep water, scoop by scoop. Ricky just shakes his head. Isn't that totally foolish? Float fishing, casting that far out, isn't that just feeding the fish for free? I completely ignore him and keep waiting. 5 minutes later, the golden dot suddenly stops. Then it abruptly changes direction and charges toward me at high speed. So incredibly fast, it leaves a golden afterimage behind it. My heart pounds with excitement. A golden dot represents a super rare treasure, and one this massive might just be the legendary 100-pound fish king. Just as I'm lost in thought, the golden dot has already entered the water, a mere 10 meters in front of me. Without any hesitation, I cast my line in. Just 1 second later, the float plunges under with a terrifying, lightning-fast whoosh. My rod jerks violently downward, the tip stabbing the water. Trust me, you and I are about to witness absolute madness. Stick with me here. A force 10 times crazier than that drone surges up my rod. Come up, I scream, hauling the rod with everything. With a loud twang, the custom 5.0 braided main line wails under absolute, unbearable strain. The water surface explodes. A massive, glittering golden tail bursts through the sunset, slapping up an entire sky full of wild, crashing spray. Ricky is so stunned, his rod slips right out of his hands. Pointing at the churning water, he screams out, "Holy crap! What in the world is that thing? A golden dragon?" Bathed in the sunset's glow, that massive golden tail honestly looks like it is plated in pure, holy light. Then, boom, it slaps the water hard, diving back down deep. The surging waves literally almost capsize Ricky's entire boat. Clutching my rod, feeling that insane power pulling from below, my face shows way more pain than actual joy. Staring down at that blinding golden glow right in front of me, my sheer greed completely maxes out. Dragon or worm, I don't care. Once you bite my hook, you are my catch. You are coming up. One rod to rule them all. Down by Dragon King Reservoir, the ultimate man versus monster fish showdown officially kicks off. The live chat absolutely erupts into pure chaos. Watch closely, because you and I are about to witness a miracle. Look at that bent rod. Listen to that water slicing. If that is not a giant dragon, I will eat my shoe. You are mighty, magistrate. Show that rich kid some real brute force. But honestly, I have zero time to read any comments right now. My arms feel like heavy lead, just burning, sore, and totally aching. Still, the wild hype inside me erupts like a volcano. It is alive. Definitely alive. Through the bending rod, I clearly feel this huge beast struggling wildly underwater, fighting to use the figure-8 control technique to absorb the massive pulling force. I literally cannot hold back a huge burst of laughter. Ha 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 ha. Ricky, you have definitely lost now. This monster is 50 pounds at the very least. Your tiny little coulters would not even fill a gap in its massive teeth. Ricky goes totally pale, but he stubbornly fires right back. Do not celebrate early. Watch out, your line might snap and it gets away. Until it is on shore, anything could happen. In my dictionary, the phrase snapped line literally does not exist. After talking so big, I watch the golden dot on my system map drawing closer and closer. My eyes light up, golden and alive. This has to be a legendary, top-grade monster catch. Washing away my absolute shame of always failing comes down entirely to this one single moment. Time slowly ticks by minute. After an intense standoff lasting over 30 minutes, I finally feel the underwater beast running out of stamina. Its struggles completely weaken. I totally seize the moment, throwing my body backward, putting all my strength into both of my hands, and letting out a massive shout. Splash! The surface bursts wide open as a huge, dark shadow is dragged forcefully right out of the water. First, a thick flat tail appears, followed closely by a seriously broad, completely flat body. If you do not look closely, it really just looks like a piece of dead wood, or a giant catfish. Ricky cries out in total shock. Holy crap, what a huge catfish. Its head has to be the size of a giant wash basin. Let that sink in, because Ricky and the live stream are suddenly stunned, speechless. Because the massive beast I dragged onto the shallows absolutely does not roll on its side like a fish. Instead, it stretches out 4 short, thick legs with toes, and clumsily crawls a few steps across the shallow ground. That is right, it actually crawls. Then, it opens an absurdly wide mouth and lets out a hair-raising wail, sounding exactly like a human baby crying loudly, like I'm frozen by magic. I stand totally rooted, just staring at this big, dark, slippery, 4-legged weirdo bawling right in front of me. That wild joy I haven't even wiped off my face slowly cracks apart. It quickly turns into pure despair, where I want to cry, but don't dare. On his boat, Ricky gets so terrified he nearly falls straight into the water. Trembling, he points at it. Simon, is your style not way too wild? What the heck is that thing? A freaky water ghost or some crazy creature that turned into a local stream demon? After a brief pause, the entire chat completely erupts. Holy crap! Holy crap! Oh my gosh! What on earth is that strange thing? It totally looks like a giant salamander. But how could a salamander ever get that insanely big? That really is a giant salamander, and definitely a wild one too. A body that huge has to be over 50 pounds. Forget everything else. That baby crying sound nearly scared the pee right out of me. Honestly, by now I'm close to completely breaking down, looking at this huge beast in the mud, innocently blinking its tiny eyes, and bawling loudly. 1,000 angry curses basically gallop straight through my mind. I literally just wanted to catch a normal fish. Why did you bring me up this weird little tyrant? The giant salamander on the ground seems to sense my disgust, crying even louder with a shrill, aggrieved voice. Totally startled, I shudder and toss my fishing rod straight to the side in pure panic. Raising both hands high over my head, I desperately plead. Guys, I swear, I really just wanted to catch a meter-long topmouth coulter. This thing bit the hook on its own. It came here just to pull a wild scam on me. Trust me, this gets crazier. Ricky paddled to the shore, but he absolutely does not dare get off his boat. From far away, he stares at the giant salamander, eyes completely wide with awe. Simon, I am seriously impressed. Over all my years of lure fishing, I have seen guys pull up snacks. I have seen people catch birds. I have even watched folks pull up turtles. But let's be honest, we have never seen anyone catch a 50-pound giant salamander. You are making history here. Match completely yours. Seeing his totally serious face, I am so anxious, I am literally stomping my feet. Stop talking nonsense. Hurry up and help me think. What exactly do we do with this massive thing? I really do not want to go to jail. Right now, all I can picture is Walter dragging me down to the station for questioning. This is not just some epic catch. This is a guaranteed life sentence waiting to happen. I rub my forehead, crouching 2 meters away from the giant salamander. Honestly, my posture is as humble as a servant. I want to remove the hook, but I am terrified. For starters, its bite force is absolutely insane. More importantly, I am terrified of accidentally hurting it. Selling everything I own would not cover the fine for this epic mistake. The giant salamander just lies in the mud, its short little legs paddling around, letting out these loud, wailing cries. Hearing that sad sound makes my heart totally clench up every single time. I am begging you, please stop crying. If you keep crying, attracting wolves is the small problem. Watch closely, because this is where the panic hits. I stop, glance at the live stream, and accept my ultimate fate by dialing the police. Hello, is this the police? I really need some help. Can you transfer me to the Forestry Bureau or the Wildlife Protection Center? I caught a protected animal again. The dispatcher on the phone pauses for a second, then very cautiously asks, "Wait, are you Mr. Simon, the local magistrate?" I press my hand against my forehead, imaginary dark lines flashing across it, and nod in total defeat. Yes, that is me. I am at Dragon King Reservoir right now. I hooked a wild giant catch, nearly 50 pounds. Actually, giant salamander. It is alive and crying. Please hurry, or I fear it will run short of water. Once the call ends, I feel totally exhausted. Right beside me, Ricky pours bottled water over the giant salamander, clicking his tongue in pure amazement as he watches. He asks, "Simon, how in the world did this thing get so huge? One cooking pot definitely cannot hold it. We would need two." Completely alarmed, I rush over and clamp my hand tightly over Ricky's mouth. "If you want jail time, do not drag me in. Every pound of this creature's meat equals a heavy prison sentence. Stew just one pot of this, and you will be eating prison cabbage for the rest of your natural life." Meanwhile, my live stream viewers who love drama are absolutely laughing their heads off. Young Master Ricky is honestly quite the reckless little outlaw. I know exactly what you are thinking. If he cooks that soup, he becomes inmate Ricky. And guess what? Detective Walter arrives in just 5 seconds. Speak of the devil, my phone suddenly rings again. The screen clearly says Walter. Trembling with fear, I answer it, and hear his voice dripping with playful mockery. "All right, then, Simon. I was just working overtime, eating instant noodles, when the command center told me you stirred up trouble again. So, I hear you did not catch an old relic, but fished up a crying baby instead." My face is the absolute picture of helpless misery, while I quickly defend myself. "Detective Walter, please stop teasing me. I seriously did not mean to hook it. It came and ate my bait completely on its own. I'm being totally wronged here." "All right, stop your howling. Larry from the Forestry Bureau already set out with the team, and I will be there too. Take good care of that thing. Remember, it is a living medal of merit." I nod and slowly hang up the phone. 40 minutes later, several Forest Patrol pickup trucks come bumping along the rugged mountain road. Their bright headlights cut straight through the dark night, lighting up my utterly defeated face. Sure enough, Detective Walter came right along. The very first thing he does after getting out is walk straight over to me. He pats my shoulder, and then he just cannot help but completely burst out laughing. Seeing the pure resentment written across my face, he quickly says, with a big grin, "Sorry. The scene is just too incredible. With so many anglers out there, how exactly are you the one who hooks this beast on a single cast?" Several experts in white coats have already gathered around, very gently lifting the giant salamander straight into a professional transport water tank. The lead expert, Larry, is so excited his beard trembles. A top specimen. Truly an amazing top specimen. This is absolutely the largest wild giant salamander ever found in Riverton. Judging by its massive build, It is at least 50 or 60 years old. A real old-timer. With that, he turns and grips my hand tightly, his eyes completely full of sincere gratitude. Young man, thank you so much. This amazing giant salamander has absolutely immeasurable value for our research on the local aquatic ecosystem. You made a great contribution. Force out an awkward smile, hesitate, and then quietly ask. Its mouth got lightly scraped by the hook. I do not know how serious it is. Will it be able to safely return to the reservoir? Do not worry, the hook missed anything vital. We will properly disinfect it, care for it a few days, and once the wound heals, we will bring it back. I breathed a huge sigh of relief. We survived this total madness. Just then, Larry waves his team over. Let's dive right back into the madness. They immediately turn to the truck, pulling out a pre-made banner and a shiny red envelope. Larry grabs the goods and hands them over. A little thank you from the Forestry Bureau, plus a $2,000 reward. It is not much, but it shows our respect. Keep up the awesome work, Simon, and always report these wild situations right away. I stared down at the banner covered in flashing gold letters. Guardian of Fish, Defender of the Ecosystem, and I instantly feel completely dizzy. The experts carefully load the heavy water tank onto their truck, and that wailing divine beast is finally hauled off. But right before leaving, I swear, the creature glances back at me just one last time. I cannot tell if it is thanking me, or just mocking my terrible luck at catching zero normal fish. The chaos finally settles. Ricky pops the trunk of his Raptor and hauls out a sleek alloy case. Simon, bet is a bet. The newest Shimano spinning reel and lure rod. $38,000 for the pair. All yours. Staring at the case Ricky is holding, I nervously rub my hands together, totally afraid to grab it. You are really giving this? Isn't it way too expensive? Simon, you must take this. I'm planning on following you everywhere from now on. That is all I am asking. Next time you catch a literal dragon or phoenix, just let me pet it. Holding this ridiculously heavy, top-tier gear, then glancing at my completely empty fish net, I can only look up and sigh heavily at the sky. I just want one simple bowl of fish soup. Why is this so impossible? Driving back, my feelings are totally mixed. Today was incredibly nerve-wracking, but the final haul was absolutely massive. $2,000 for free, a $30,000 top-tier gear set, and Ricky calling me his absolute master everywhere. He even dragged me into Riverton's elite fishing group, just so I could log in and absolutely blow the minds of all those clueless amateurs stuck in their little bubble. But the worst part, I caught zero normal fish again. While driving, I angrily mutter to myself, stupid system. I seriously refuse to accept this nonsense. Watch closely with me. Next time, I will find an empty spot and see exactly what wild tricks the system pulls. By the time I finally get home, it is super late at night. After washing up, I flop onto my couch and boot up the system interface. Catching that giant salamander gave me 1,000 points, making my grand total 3,500. I open the system shop, praying for some epic item to break my terrible bad luck curse. But right in the daily specials, a brand new icon is faintly glowing. Ultimate Eye of Insight, trial version. It costs 500 points per use. Once activated, my eyes can clearly see absolutely everything within 10 meters underwater, catching every detail for 10 whole minutes. Reading this insane skill description on the screen, I instantly bolt upright from my couch. Is this not a literal vision cheat? Fishing was always about pure luck. With this thing, indirectly watch whatever the fish are doing below. Even 10 minutes is plenty of time to pinpoint their underwater nest and strike with absolute precision. Without hesitating, I spend 500 points to unlock one trial use. Next time I'm hitting up Thousand Island Lake. Rumor says there are so many fish there, you could literally walk right across the water on their backs. I refuse to believe that if I literally watch a fish bite my hook, I could still somehow reel up some creepy sunken skeleton instead. I laugh happily to myself, and almost shut off my phone to sleep. But a sudden local news alert instantly grabs my attention. Riverton Express. Recent heavy rain has seriously raised the upstream water level. Fishermen just found massive amounts of mystery floating debris down in the waters of Lost Souls Bend. Rumor says a rich merchant ship full of silver sank right here a century ago. Now, tons of eager treasure hunters are rushing straight to Lost Souls Bend. Actual ancient silver from a sunken ship? I quickly pop open the system map's expedition mode. Right at Lost Souls Bend, a flickering red dot is radiating a super dark energy. Right next to it, a massive cluster of bright golden dots. You and I both know what this means. A red dot paired with gold dots. What an absolute mystery. Does insane danger equal huge opportunity? Does a spooky river relic come with epic sunken treasure at the bottom? I swallow hard. I am incredibly tempted, but logic warns me that if I go, I will definitely run into Detective Walter again. After hesitating for ages, I rub my chin and whisper to myself, maybe I should just give this one more try. After all, I have the eye of insight now. I will peek underwater first. If it is a creepy skeleton, I am running. If there is epic loot, I am definitely fishing it up. The very next day, sleep until noon, then drive my car for over an hour before reaching Lost Souls Bend. Lost Souls Bend got its name because the river channel here forms a massive, incredibly sharp U-shaped curve. The current is incredibly fast. Hidden reefs are literally everywhere. Because the terrain is so chaotic, upstream debris always gets stuck here. Since ancient times, this place has been the absolute best spot for secret salvaging. Trust me, you and I definitely want to see this. Tons of cars are parked, and dozens of people are sweeping the muddy flats like crazy treasure hunters. Come along with me. I park high up, grab my gear, and skillfully start the stream. Going live instantly spikes the hype. The chat goes wild, shouting out the magistrate. Wait, is this the famous Lost Spirits Bend? People say this place has way more water spirits than fish. What? I heard you can actually hook silver ingots. Master, you visited Lost Spirits Bend too? I'm heading over. Save me a spot. That last comment was Ricky. I answer him casually, while walking past a loud crowd of eager treasure hunters, heading completely alone to an eddy where the bend is the deepest and the river current rushes fastest. This is exactly where the purple, red, and golden dots overlap right on my system map. Standing right on a rock at the water's edge, I glance straight down into the murky, bottomless yellow river. I silently give the command, activate the ultimate eye of insight. In the next second, a cool sensation washes over my eyes, and the scene before me totally changes. That murky yellow water rapidly turns completely transparent in my vision, as if it switched straight to a 4K ultra-clear picture. My sight pierces the surface, looking straight down below. I cannot help but gasp in shock. This riverbed is basically a giant garbage dump. Abandoned bikes, rusted iron frames, and even half of a fully wrecked tractor. How am I supposed to catch any fish in this mess? It is all line-snagging junk. But soon, my eyes lock onto a hollow sitting at the deepest part of the bend. Beneath the messy trash, several coin-sized round objects are scattered everywhere, giving off a faint, mysterious glow. Silver dollars. They are all shiny silver dollars. But before I can even celebrate, I spot a massive object resting beneath those silver dollars. The massive thing is oval-shaped, a little over a meter long, and half buried in silt. A thick broken iron chain wraps entirely around it, and the brightest silver dollars hang on that chain. Now watch closely. In my system view, this massive oval object gives off an insane, heart-pounding purple-red glow. I glance at the countdown clock. Barely 5 minutes remain. I need my hook perfectly beside that giant thing before the see-through vision totally fades away, or I must hook directly onto that wrapped iron chain. I quickly switch to the legendary large treble hook that made me famous in battles. Attach a lead sinker, take perfect aim, and cast. The sinker pulls the line right through the air in a graceful arc, landing perfectly above the huge object and slowly sinking down. I hold my breath, working the rod, guiding the treble hook bit by bit, straight toward that chain wound with silver dollars. The exact instant the hook catches the iron chain, a chime rings in my head. The ultimate eye of insight ends. The world instantly returns to murky water, leaving me dizzy. But I have absolutely zero time to mind that now. I give my wrist a sharp flick, and a massive weight immediately hits my hand. The heavy feedback of metal locking tight. It is hooked. I feel totally overjoyed. Gripping the rod with both hands, I pull hard, but that underwater beast refuses to budge. It feels like I literally hooked the entire planet. I frown. Is this thing just way too heavy? I think it over and over, and an awesome idea finally pops into my mind. Since I cannot pull it up, I will just bring out the heavy equipment. Soon, the crowd watches a bizarre tug-of-war unfold right on the riverbank of Lost Spirits Bend. Except one side of this war is my fresh-off rotor, and the other is an unknown giant buried deep underwater. I grab the electric winch cable and a strong nylon rope from my car. I slide the rope slip knot right down along the taut fishing line, relying completely on my memory and the feel from the see-through vision a moment ago, to loop it around an iron ring on that giant. You and I are just as shocked. Holy cow! Is this guy inventing a brand new fishing style? Since when does a fish require a winch? I have a serious feeling today is definitely no small event. I literally have zero time to check the comments. Holding the winch remote, I stand on the riverbank. As I press the button, the motor lets out an incredibly harsh, loud grinding hum. The steel cable instantly snaps completely taut, pulling the front of my off-rotor down slightly. Not far off, the treasure hunters are drawn over by the loud commotion here. They excitedly crowd around to watch the show. Kid, did you seriously hook a sunken ship? I'm guessing it is just a heavy sunken log. This place has lots. Just hope you are not pulling up a cursed box. The noisy crowd chatters away, and many excitedly pull out their phones to record. The water surface suddenly starts churning violently. A mass of bubbles, mixed with dark black silt, rises up, and an old, truly stale stench spreads through the air. Amid the massive anticipation and a giant splash, the underwater beast finally reveals its true form. The very first thing to emerge is a length of rusty, thick iron chain, totally covered in dark round lumps, that still beautifully glint with a bright trace of silver. The exact moment I see this, my eyes shine. Silver, it really is silver. Trust me, you and I just witnessed something epic as the winch drags this giant ashore. Stick with me here. We are looking at a massive, rusted, oval iron lump that is definitely not a treasure box. Right at the top sits this weird metal ring poking out. And wouldn't you know it, his trusty fishhook and the heavy tow rope are snagged perfectly onto it. He powers down the winch and leans right in with a completely clueless face to investigate. He gets the feeling this giant gas tank thing looks strangely familiar. Seeing this mystery object, the bravest people in the crowd start gathering around for a closer peek. The thick metal shell looks like a heavy machine part. Wait a second, hey! There is actual writing stamped on it. It looks like some kind of foreign language. Over on his stream, the wildly cheering chat suddenly drops into complete, absolute, and total silence. Then, boom, a bright red warning comment with a huge exclamation mark flashes across the screen. Streamer, run away right now. Do not touch that metal ring under any circumstances. He stares at the message from military buff Mike, totally questioning if this guy is joking. But then another comment pops up. It is a World War II aerial bomb. Based on its shape alone, it is either an aerial bomb or a massive naval mine. And that ring he snagged, that is the trigger fuse. Watch closely. This is where things get wild. Run before this thing blasts everyone into the sky. He stares at the giant iron lump barely 2 meters away. Suddenly, a faint but incredibly crisp clicking sound echoes out. Pure shock shoots right from his feet all the way to the top of his head. His entire body completely freezes up in terror. The few curious folks standing nearby finally realize something feels totally off. Is that thing actually making noises? Wait, why didn't anyone else hear it? Just as one guy is literally about to hug the metal ball and press his ear against it, our hero unleashes a massive roar from the very depths of his lungs. Get back, that is a bomb. The whole crowd completely freezes for a split second before scattering like a kicked hornet nest. In just a blink, the entire area is totally clear. He absolutely wants to run too, but he is completely stuck since his rod is still attached. The line links to the car, and the heavy rope is locked tight right onto that trigger ring. If he drops the rope now, the very next second, he would be riding a massive explosion straight up into the clouds. His legs are shaking uncontrollably. Forcing himself to stay totally calm, he uses trembling hands to dial Detective Walter's number. The line picks up fast. Walter sounds incredibly exhausted. Now what happened? I am literally in a seminar about your bizarre luck right now. Please tell me you haven't caused more trouble. He stares at the massive iron ball nearby and speaks up with a completely panicked voice. Detective Walter, everyone is fine right now, but I might blast away a whole crowd. I used my winch at Lost Souls Bend and pulled up a giant explosive. The stream chat says it is an aerial bomb. You feel that tension, right? The line goes completely silent for 3 seconds, until a chair crashes over and Walter lets out an absolute roar. Cancel the meeting. Bomb squad, SWAT team, and helicopters need to move out right now. Simon, hold the winch tight. Do not move an inch, and breathe lightly. You are looking at a 2,000-pound aerial explosive. If that thing blows, the entire river bend disappears. Simon cries back. I know, detective. I am so scared I do not even dare to blink, let alone move. 10 minutes pass, just as he feels like collapsing from pure exhaustion. The intense roar of helicopter blades finally thunders down from the sky. A massive chopper sweeps right in, circling loudly above the winding river bend. Its insane wind pressure blows the tall reeds totally flat. Panicking instantly, our guy screams out loud, "Do not come any closer to me. The wind is too strong. Hold still." The pilot immediately realizes the huge danger, pulling up fast to land far away. Walter rushes in with his massive team, setting up a huge 2-kilometer safety zone. All those curious onlookers watching from 100 meters away get completely evacuated to the opposite hill. Experts in super heavy bomb suits rush over like quick, clumsy penguins while carrying their tools. Meanwhile, Walter stands 100 meters back with a giant bullhorn. Simon, you must follow the experts perfectly, and whatever happens, do not move a muscle. He wants to nod, but his neck is completely stiff, like solid cement. He just blinks his eyes twice, wondering if Walter can even see him from that far. The lead bomb expert is an older guy. After scanning the giant object with his tools, his expression turns super dark as he speaks right into the radio. This is a torpedo bomber, used to sink giant warships. Forget just blowing up the car, the payload inside could literally level half of this hillside. He stares at the snagged trigger ring, wipes his heavy sweat, and continues. This kid actually has insane luck. The fuse completely rusted solid, leaving the whole thing in an incredibly delicate, fragile balance. Thank goodness he stayed behind, or that rusty firing pin would have definitely dropped down. Hearing the expert's terrifying report leaves our hero completely speechless. Sir, can you actually defuse it? The old man glares back sharply. Do not speak. Even basic sound waves could trigger a deadly vibration. The desperate cry for help he was about to make instantly gets stuck in his throat. So what do you and I learn here? Sometimes the wildest catches leave you totally speechless. Trust me, the next half hour felt like an absolute eternity of pure torture. Alright, stick with me here. 2 bomb experts carefully freeze the fuse using liquid nitrogen spray, then use super fine tools to slowly cut away the nylon rope, and my fishing hook wound around it. While working, the older expert won't stop complaining. I have defused bombs my entire life. I cleared them at massive construction sites. I have handled dangerous subways, but one entirely fished out of the water with a hook? Totally a first. Hearing his harsh complaints, I am practically crying here. Sir, please just focus. Then, right on cue, with a tiny snap, the tight nylon rope is finally cut completely in half. The second expert quickly locks a clamp straight onto the fuse, exhales heavily, and totally collapses backward onto the dirt. We are safe for now. All the energy drains completely from my body. and I hit the dirt right beside him, gasping hard for breath. The older expert slowly walks over and pats my tired shoulder. "Kid, you really won your life back today." Right then, Detective Walter storms over, pointing directly at me, his fingers shaking with pure, absolute rage. "You insane kid, are you trying to put me in an early grave? Every single day you cause this exact chaos." I plead back, "Detective Walter, I'm completely innocent. I really just wanted to fish up some silver dollars." But right then, a wild thought suddenly hits me. Now watch this part closely. I turn my head toward that massive bomb, completely surrounded by the SWAT team, specifically staring at the heavy iron chain wrapped around it. Then I speak up super quietly, "Detective Walter, does the silver on that thing legally count as my catch?" The entire scene goes completely silent for a second, and Walter actually laughs out of pure, downright anger. "You literally almost lost your life today, yet you are still obsessing over a few bits of silver? With your insane greed over personal safety, it is a massive shame you never became an undercover agent." Saying that, he casually bends down, picks up the heavy iron chain, weighs those dark metal chunks right in his hand, and drops a bombshell. "These are ancient cultural relics. They must absolutely be handed straight over to the state." I let out a loud, dramatic wail. So all my crazy hard work was for literally nothing. Walter hands the chain to the evidence unit beside him, patting my shoulder to comfort me. "All right, stop howling. The silver might be gone, but this time, you made a truly massive contribution." This specific bomb was hidden away perfectly, and its fuse was already incredibly unstable and dangerous. You and I both know the terrifying truth here. If it washed downstream and struck the bridge or power station, the total disaster would have been absolutely unthinkable. A sweet bomb disposal tip reward, plus a huge cultural relic protection award. Our police department spoke with the Relics Bureau, and we decided to officially apply for an $80,000 reward just for you. With that, Walter holds up 8 fingers. After hearing his words, my completely dull eyes suddenly light up bright like blazing searchlights. Suddenly, my back stops aching entirely, my legs feel great, and I even feel energized enough to go touch that deadly bomb for a quick photo. Watching my reaction, Walter just shakes his head with a completely helpless laugh. "Simon, please, next time, whatever you decide to fish for, could you just report it to me way in advance? If this madness keeps up, my poor heart absolutely will not survive it. So what do you and I learn here?" I thump my chest, vowing with deep conviction. "Walter, trust me. Next time, I swear I will definitely catch a normal fish."